Vixie, I hope you're having a great day, and I hope it only gets better. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Draw. And of course, before we get to the actual bulk of me drawing what we're drawing today, we have to do the comments of the week. So first things first, let's get this out of the way. And oh look, I don't even, Snowy, you don't even need to like put it in editing, because I have the comment right here. Wow. I picked out this comment, or in this case, these comments from Gar Inc. on my last Hollow Knight video. And the reason I picked both of these is Gar Inc. has just been consistently helpful for a lot of my Hat in Time playthrough and a good amount of my Hollow Knight playthrough, so I just wanted to highlight them once again, saying, hey, I very much appreciate your help. If you would like to be the next comment of the week, make sure to leave a comment down below just saying whatever you feel like. I don't really have a theme for this week, much like I did last week, so just say whatever you want. It can be silly, it can be stupid, it can be something totally random that you just felt like saying, and who knows, you might be the next comment of the week. Now, with that out of the way, let's draw. Let's draw. Wow. What in particular are we going to be drawing today, you may ask, and probably have asked thus far? Well, that's a simple fact. Let's just get Let's Draw out of here. I am actually going to be drawing Vixie. Now you may be wondering, hey, that looks basically finished. It's a sketch, so you haven't done line art and stuff, but that's pretty much finished. You even signed it. Well, that's because, yes, this is a sketch. A finished sketch, not, to be specific. There we go. Wow. I woke up like 20 minutes ago, so my brain's not quite awake yet. This sketch was not really planned to be its own finished thing. Hold on, it's not like in the center, and it's killing me. This was never planned to be like an actual art thing. This was just going to be me trying to see what it was like to do sequins. That's why her dress is like that. But I ended up really liking Vixie in this silver dress. So I figured, hey, what if I made that her canon night on the town outfit when she's going out and doing whatever you do when you have a night on the town, I guess. I don't know. I'm introverted and so is Vixie, so she doesn't wear it a whole lot, but she really likes the dress, so she has it for special occasions. That's basically the approach I took. So I wanted to take this finished sketch, sort of redo it, do a redraw, and actually make a full art thing out of it. Especially seeing as how the way I did the sequins is not really vibing with me, so I want to take this opportunity to redo this style of silver dress. As some of you may know, especially if you've watched the previous episodes of Let's Draw, I actually like using AI, like Stable Diffusion, to get a general vibe of what I want to actually draw. So I went ahead and did that with this as well, which is the first time I've ever tried to do something with Vixie in AI. And let me just, hold on, I have them here. It is incredibly strange, in AI's interpretation of Vixie. All of the things are there, but it's just a little bit off kilter, which is, I guess, the entire vibe of AI. I have another one here as well, just a very different angle. And it's so strange because the essence is there, but it's completely soulless. That is just the general vibe of AI art quotes on a whole. But I was originally generating these images so I would have a, what I normally do, which is, for the pose and such, which can only work so well because AI anatomy tends not to be perfect 100% of the time. I actually, the vibe changed a little bit when I was actually generating these, because obviously in these I prompted it to, draw a background as well. And I was like, you know what? I kind of like that idea with, the lake behind her and the trees and the forest and whatnot. I liked that idea, so I figured, hey, what if I actually take this opportunity to actually try to draw a fucking background for once. The Empress drawing, which I'll put up here right now, this was originally going to have an actual detailed, quote unquote, it was going to be blurred, but a detailed background, and I ended up just going with what I did because I didn't feel confident enough in doing it, and I wanted that specific piece to look as good as I possibly could make it. So seeing as how this one I am already trying out with trying to draw Vixie in a different outfit that is a separate canon outfit with a style that is way different to her usual knit sweater that does not reflect whatsoever to a very reflective silver dress, I figured I'd also give myself an opportunity to try something else new and actually draw a detailed background. So I figured this would be a pretty simple background for just, something to have so it isn't just an empty image, because I have drawn landscapes before in art class when I was in high school, and they aren't hard to do, especially when there is a very clear, distinct, detailed focal point, because you don't really need to put 1,000,000% effort into the background for it to look good. It just needs to look good enough because it's not the main course, so to speak. So with that, I would say let's get this going, why don't we? In the original thing, let's actually have this up. Let's just scale it down a bit. So let's go to this, go to scale, and go like 25% scale. Just so it's there. Just wait, so we can look at it, but it's out of the way. Right there. Boop. So in the original thing, she is facing that way. Oh, wow. That's a... It's like every time I do art, I forget how I do arrow. So I think I'll just do typical arrow. She's facing that way, but she's looking the other way. But for this, I do want to have her just facing this way like she normally does. So we are going to have a slightly different pose. I think I'm going to keep her arms behind her because, you know, the hands are difficult to hide, so hands are not difficult to hide. In fact, they're very easy for an artist to hide because they're difficult to draw. We're gonna have her facing the normal way she normally does, so you can get the most of her face with the fact that her bangs are covering her right eye. So let's get ourselves a little circle here, squish it up a little bit because it's a little tall, like right there. That's a little big. Make that a bit smaller. Like that, because we want to have room for her body and such. And just in case I want to mess with the way she's facing independently, make that a separate layer. Yeah, I think for what specifically I want to do, that'll work for now. So the thing I had like in particular was much like the original drawing here, she has her arms behind her, but I do want to actually have her wearing like more makeup than she normally does with just her lipstick and her eyeliner or whatever, and I want to give her like eyeshadow as well, because, you know, she's supposed to be out on a date, which is the general vibe of this drawing. I want it to be like, POV, you're on a date with Vixie. I want to look in her best with, you know, she's dressed up and everything. And that actually brings us to a separate thing. I have this drawing of Stella from Hell of a Boss here, and I think the artist was Mixie or something like that. Hold on. According to the signature, this art was done by Mistly. The reason Stella is here, even though she's completely unrelated to everything I'm drawing, I really like the way that Mist did eyeshadow here, with where it's like black but sparkly, and I want to do that. And I think that looked really good. That actually lets me segue into another point I wanted to talk about, which was what the original plan for this episode of Let's Draw was. And that was actually me drawing a new OC and not just drawing my persona, because I have recently, very, very recently, discovered that I have terrible taste in women, and I really like Stella from Hell of a Boss, despite the fact that I've never seen it, mind you. I've never watched a single episode of Hell of a Boss, but I do obviously know of characters like, you know, Luna and Stella and Octavia, just because I'm a furry and people like those characters. Well, less so in the in the regard for Stella, but I suppose that's what I was talking about. So obviously, as I mentioned, I have never seen an episode of Hell of a Boss. So my knowledge on a whole is generally skewed, very limited, but basically what I have collected from various comments on a certain specific blue website is that Stella is not a good person. She is a very bad person, in fact. And the reason I'm bringing this up and why that's relevant is, as I mentioned, apparently I have terrible taste in women because I think she's super hot and I like her a whole lot. So I figured, hey, what if I actually make a bird OC that has the same general vibe as Stella, but without all the, like, you know, infidelity and domestic abuse? So the original plan for this was actually to draw that same bird OC that I just mentioned, but I had a unexpected development last night where I was listening to music, and much like 99% of the time I listen to music, I started, you know, daydreaming and just kind of brainstorming ideas about OCs. Because if you don't know this, a lot of the character ideas I have come from just purely me listening to music and like getting a vibe for the song that I'm listening to. And last night when I was listening to music, I was not planning on this, but I actually ended up attributing a lot of these songs that popped up in my playlist to this new unnamed bird OC. And I guess the reason I'm not drawing her now is my original plans for her have changed, and the general vibe of her is completely different, so I basically have to start over from zero, which isn't too bad, but if you don't support me on Patreon, Yeah, there you go. You can $5 a month. You can support me on Patreon and get work in progress art. This is all I really drew for that character, so literally just what I've drawn thus far, but with like eyes and a beak. So there were I was really like missing out on nothing in particular by restarting. So the original plan for that bird character was literally just essentially Stella but different, which is not the best for an OC to take an existing character and make them barely different. That is quite literally on the same level as any generic Sonic OC that a 9-year-old makes before they actually get into making like proper OCs. Which, no shade, everyone does that at some point. I didn't really have Sonic OCs, but I did have very generic basic OCs when I was younger. I think specifically it was like Spyro OCs. I can't remember, it's been a while. But regardless, yeah, okay, I see what the problem is. The perspective is wrong for what I want. Going back to that bird character I was talking about, as I mentioned literally just now, her original plan was literally just Stella but different. So when I was listening to music last night and different ideas popped up, I started fleshing her out more into her own character, dependent of just, hey, I like Stella, so I want to make a character that's like her. And I wouldn't say the vibe changed for her. She's still very much like the same. Her like planned personality is the same. Let's just redo this side in on a whole. Like, big point about it is that her like overall design, like inspirations are going to change, because much like with her personality and everything, she was just going to be Stella but different. Whereas Stella is like a weird owl thing, I think. I was planning to have this bird character whose working name is either Bird MILF or Bird Bitch. The original plan for her was basically just Stella, but she's not an owl. She's a nondescript, like, raptor, basically. That was the only plan I had for her. So, last night, when I was thinking about stuff, I got spitballing more ideas, etc. and whatnot. I think my issue here is I need to get this more that way. Regardless, it doesn't matter all that much, it's just a sketch, but I'm a perfectionist, so fuck. So the new plan actually came from me thinking back to when I did the video where I was rating Persona species, and I was thinking about how I really like harpy eagles just as characters for one particular specific reason, but you know, we don't have to say that. But if you're curious, I guess you can go ahead and go back and watch my Persona's tier list video, which I later come to realize that I had forgot to put sharks in there, which is ridiculous because I fucking love sharks. I cannot believe I totally forgot to put sharks in the Persona tier list. I was like absolutely berating myself that I forgot. Yeah, the ultimate point is I really like harpy eagles, so I was like, hey, what if I made her a harpy eagle? That'd be cool. I haven't really drawn a harpy eagle before. It'd be cool to like have this new like approach, this new thing I can try. That's looking better. Let's put the other thigh in as well. Yeah, I think we're getting there. Hold on, let me just quickly erase and go here and follow more of the contour of the thigh here. This is usually this is a somewhat different approach to how I normally like do hips and thigh area, because normally, as I did earlier, I do like this, where I just use a series of triangles to get the general feel of it, and that gives me the general shape of that general area, but I couldn't get this to look proper, so we're doing this in a slightly different way. The reason this looks weird is this needs to be like or this way, then curved, and then like that, maybe? Let's try that. And we'll go here and just make a new layer, because this leg is supposed to be like lifted a little. So while I try to figure this out, on top of the idea to just like make her a harpy eagle, this doesn't look great. I was also thinking about how I rated like hell dogs and hell creatures specifically really high, because that is something I really enjoy. Hell creatures just on a whole, which mostly just consists of hell dogs, but I want to be, weirdly enough, less specific in this context. I wanted to, or rather, I was thinking about how in that same video I mentioned that I really like hell creatures, and because these hell creatures and harpy eagles are rated so frickin' high in the list, if there was a hellbird harpy eagle, I would probably explode, I think was the term I used. So when I was walking around last night and the ideas were changing, I was like, hey, what if I just straight up did that myself? And I just made Bird Bitch a hell harpy eagle. I can do that. I'm an artist. I have that power. I think her thighs look fine. It's just the hips that look weird. So let's Let's do thighs first and then connect them. We'll try that. This is just the armature, so it doesn't even matter, but I want to be specific here. Like that, and then... Nah, that's not working. Okay, so let's keep the center here and just like adjust it until it stops looking weird. Ooh, better idea, actually. Let's do the thing I normally do when I can't get this looking quite right. Make a new layer, have that be less opaque, and sort of like trace it a little bit. I can have a new thing to work directly off of the general look I want to go for, like that. And then curve you down like that. And then let's do, see, that gave me insight. Okay, so we'll go ahead and connect this up right here and just have this like that, because this isn't tall enough. So let's lock you real quick so you don't move, and then make you taller, and then more squish, and then scale. Like that. There we go. That's much better, much better. Now we just gotta make it, on a whole, a little bit bigger, because Vixie canonically has hella ass. Maybe make the thighs a little bit longer? Not too long, though, because Vixie is not a tall individual. So to try and harken back to what I was just talking about, as I rename these to Leggy, on top of the fact that I want to, like, make her a Hellbird Harpy Eagle, I was just kind of listening to my YouTube playlist. Or not my YouTube playlist, just my YouTube music, like, auto-generated mix, which is a thing that YouTube music has, and is very, very helpful for the fact that I listen to a lot of music and never really feel like listening to anything in particular. And while I was listening to said random anything that I don't have a particular opinion in, a, like, symphonic metal cover of Malzeno's, like, fight theme from Monster Hunter Rise came on, and that bled over into my brainstorming, and now I kind of want to mix this Hellbird Harpy Eagle with some elements of Malzeno. So there was a drastic, and I mean drastic, change in approach that I want to take for this character. Well, not this character, because, you know, we're drawing Vixie, but Bird Bitch. So I guess the ultimate point there is that is why I'm not drawing Bird Bitch in this video today, because plans changed, and I suddenly have to basically start over from the prototyping phase again. So it's probably going to be a little bit before she's actually, you know, ready for me to start drawing her. Because I spend a lot of time just permanently prototyping characters, and I should probably spend more time actually drawing them, even if that's not going to be their final design. That is a big problem I have with myself when it comes to art, which is to say, a lot of the time I spend thinking about OCs, I could spend drawing the OCs, but I don't. I feel like if I actually put the same amount of energy I put into, like, workshopping and brainstorming OCs into actually drawing them, I would probably be able to draw a lot more, and by extension get a lot more practice in. I think that works for the armature. So I guess let's actually get into a drawing now. So I'll set that to 25% opacity. I was thinking maybe she's facing a bit more towards the camera, like more head-on than I wanted, but we'll roll with this and see how it works. But yeah, I spend a lot of time just workshopping OCs and not actually drawing them, and that's a big issue I have with my own art. Because I do like my art style. I feel very comfortable now that I've actually, I'm on stabilizer, so I'm gonna be on basic. Now that I've actually, you know, done art enough for long enough to, like, carve out my own style, and I'm not just doing a vague interpretation of some artist that I like, I do like my style. I just have an issue with the fact that I'm not quite on the level of speed and production that I would want to be. Oh, right, she's facing a different way, so I can't really use this here. I could use my PFP for reference, but we'll roll over that for now. My biggest issue with my own art is not my quality, but my speed of production. Because at some point I would like to actually start taking, like, commissions and stuff so I can, you know, turn my art into a job. Just in case, you know, if this whole YouTube thing doesn't work out, I can always have my art to fall back on. And for me to feel comfortable, like, taking money from people to, like, draw for them, I really need to have it like, okay, that's way too big. Or what if we just make this bigger? No, that looks weird. That looks really weird. Let's actually do the makeup first, just so I can get a better vibe of eye. So the ultimate point I was trying to make before I got distracted with this is I want to get my art production speed up a little bit because I don't want to keep people waiting for too long for something that I do not consider to be absolutely amazing and just kind of like okay. And the only way I can really get my production speed up is by drawing more and getting more used to drawing things, and I can do simple things much quicker than I would normally. So I think the issue with this is it's too tall. My brain's still in the like Hollow Knight thumbnail area, so I'm drawing her eyes a lot bigger because she's supposed to be like chibi. So anyway, as I was mentioning, I want to get my my production speed more before I start taking commissions and stuff, because I would say that my art is good enough to start like doing commissions. I'm just not comfortable with how fast I can do it, which is a thing I've stated multiple times. But that really is the ultimate thing stopping me from accepting commissions right now. And that whole thing about art production speed is actually a big reason that I started this series in general, on top of, you know, just me trying to get better at like multitasking and stuff, which I am not good at, which if you support me on Patreon, you will be very, very aware with right now if you are listening to this, the raw audio for this video in the background. But yeah, a big reason I started Let's Draw is to try and give myself more opportunities to draw, even with the fact that I also have a YouTube channel to keep up with. And I mentioned this around like before I rebranded and before I made Let's Draw an actual series. I was concerned with the fact that I felt like I was slacking with my art because the only thing I was really drawing was thumbnails, which I do enjoy drawing thumbnails, and it is genuinely just me making art for thumbnails. That's the great thing about it. But even with me having to do my own thumbnails and everything, I felt like I wasn't drawing nearly as much as I want to, and nearly as much as I should, with the fact that I want to improve just my overall quality and, most importantly, my production speed. So at one point I made that fateful tweet saying like, hey, how would you react if I suddenly started an art series out of nowhere? And that was received with plenty of positivity, which I was very happy with. And now I have the opportunity to, anytime I feel like I'm slacking on my art in favor of doing video stuff, I can do a video like this where I am recording a video. I'm recording content for you to listen to enjoy, and ideally enjoy while you are drawing along with me, with whatever you happen to be drawing. And I don't have to worry about, you know, setting up another Hollow Knight recording or any particular series I would be doing at the time. I can just sit down and I can do something that I wanted to do and still have that be like my content for this week, so I can still keep my schedule up, all the while having the opportunity to practice, do more art, and get more used to doing art on a whole. So I'm very, very appreciative that at least the initial reception for people like me asking people how would you react if I started an art series was very positive. And I would say, while it's not my most successful series, I am happy with the limited success that Let's Draw has seen thus far. I'm pretty easy to satisfy, I don't ask for much, so the fact that anyone is sitting down and listening to Let's Draw right now is more than enough for me. Are her top lashes a bit too far forward? I think they might be. These bottom lashes I always get correct on the first try because they're not hard to do. I guess not. I think specifically for this context though, I am going to move them back a little bit so there's more room for like the eyeshadow I want to try. In other barely related news, as far as like we'll say behind the scenes stuff when it comes to my YouTube content, I have a really hard time remembering specific things that I want to bring up and / or need to bring up in the case of like the Patreon plug I do. So I've recently started having to-do lists, and by recently I mean the last video is when I started. I mentioned it a couple times in the last episode of Hollow Knight that something wasn't on my to-do list or whatever. That's much better. And the reason I started doing that is just I'm very annoyed with the fact that I consistently have issues with remembering to do specific stuff, especially when it's important, like doing the Patreon plug, because, you know, I gotta let people know I have Patreon in case they want to support me. I would say that's better. So basically, I started doing this to-do list thing where I write down the general gist of things that I want to talk about, so I can keep better track of them for myself, because I am an absolute mess when it comes to keeping track of things. And it's generally been very, very helpful. Even if I've only done it in one, technically 2 videos now, I already feel like I've not made progress, but like I've had an easier time actually keeping track of the things that I want to / need to talk about. Go figure, having a to-do list very much helps with that. Get her eye looking weird. Do I suddenly not remember how to do eyes? I think issue is I'm not making her pupil big enough. And we'll color that in just for posterity's sake, so it's more obviously her pupil. Okay, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do, right? With her eye here. Because I want to take this opportunity to try doing that, funnily enough, this eyeshadow situation with like the sparkly black or whatever, I wanted to have her eyes be bigger and more like kind, I guess, but I think purely for being able to see the eyeshadow and give myself more space to actually do the eyeshadow, I'm actually going to make her iris, I guess, the actual, color part of her eye, a separate thing real quick. So we're just going to trace over it on a new layer, so I can then erase the iris under this, so I can just kind of morph her eye around, so I can have a general idea of the expression I want. That actually looks better even, so it's a good thing I did that. So now let's try moving this down a little, bit up a little. Yeah, okay. So let's bring this down, right here. And then we're going to pull one of these moves, and we are going to cut, well, that's an eraser, whoops. Cut it off like here-ish. So we have a little bit of saucy sultriness, but not like too much. And before I actually like commit to that, we're gonna really quickly just fill this in. This isn't what we're gonna do, but we're gonna fill this in just to see what that looks like, if it's the expression I want. Yeah, actually. That's better. It's kind of a halfway point between like being sultry and like kind and loving, which I would say works pretty well for Vixie being on a date. So let me just touch this up real quick, redo her eyeliner in a better way. Oh, by the way, while I'm touching up her makeup real quick, I do want to really quickly bring up, if you hear like any extra background noise or like there's a little bit more echo than there was before, Patreon knows this, but for the actual upload now, I got up to eat real quick because I was not expecting my mother to bring me snackage, but she did, and I appreciate it, so I wanted to eat that before it actually, got cold. And in the meantime, I became very intimately aware of how fucking hot it was in my room. So I got up and I opened my window. So if there's any like extra background noise, like cars or something, and I don't notice it because I have music going on, that would be why. Yeah, there we go. That's much better. Much better. And that gives me plenty of space to have like eyeshadow. Which really quickly, I'm just going to, since we're working on the eye anyway, we're gonna use a polygonal select tool. We're gonna select this just whole big area over her eye, just so I don't like color in her eye. We're gonna set this to, this is on layer? Yes. We're gonna set that to like 60% opacity, and we're just going to quickly map out like, oop, that's not still on 600. Let's do 60. We're going to very quickly map out the area I want the eyeshadow to be. So it's generally just going to be her like eyelid, because that's how eyeshadow works. We're just gonna color this spot in real quick, just so we can see where we want it to be. Generally that, but it's been a while since I've had to like draw eyeshadow, because Vixie doesn't wear eyeshadow, she just has like that lighter color over her eye, which I wonder if you can see on this. Yeah, just barely. If you look really close, it's just 1 pixel. There we go. If you look right around here, a little bit of lighter coloration that's the same tan as down here, that is just fur markings. She's not wearing eyeshadow normally. My OC that wears eyeshadow is obviously Snowy. She wears more makeup than Vixie does. And I haven't drawn Snowy in a while, now that I think about it, because, yeah, the last time I can remember drawing Snowy was for a thumbnail, and that was before I rebranded, so, that's weird. So the ultimate point is I haven't drawn, like, eyeshadow in a while, so I can't specifically remember how I do it. Oh, but the Empress fan art I did, also she was wearing eyeshadow in that, so, oh, actually... Yeah, I think my issue here is I'm going a bit too far back, and it's not actually on her eyelid, it's bleeding over a little bit, so we want it like right here. We want to start like right there and then curve around. Not that much. So let's start off with the curve, like that, and then have that too far. I want to have it like curve back down a little bit. I might do that. Actually, you know what? I just remembered. I remembered what I did. I overcolored, and then I corrected with a 60 pixel soft eraser, so I could get the exact shape carved out. It's a lot easier to erase stuff than it is to add it. Carve it out like this. That. Yeah, I would say that works. Maybe a little bit taller in the back. I feel like that curve is a little bit too steep. So, or not steep enough, rather. So let's curve that up a little bit more. Like that. How's that look? And then go in. Yeah. For just a placeholder for the sketch, I would say that works. That works just fine. Alright, so now the ultimate point of, do I draw her bangs or her nose first? It's always a crapshoot which one of those works better for me. So I think purely because the nose is a much simpler shape, we'll do that first and see how that looks. And while I try to figure out the exact positioning of the nose here, how about I do the Patreon plug? A huge shout out to all of my current patrons. Your support is very much appreciated. I love you all very much. If you would like to support me and the channel, you can do so on Patreon for just $5 a month and you'll get a bunch of cool perks, such as work in progress art, whether it be for thumbnails or just something I happen to be working on, full resolution art and full resolution thumbnail art, but most importantly, you will get early access to videos and access to a special channel where I post all of my uncut and director's cut content for your viewing pleasure. And as an example, right now, you would be able to listen to the music I'm listening to right now instead of the Hat and Time music I put in because, you know, I can actually legally do that. So if any of that catches your fancy, why don't you head down to the link in the description and check out my Patreon. Once again, a huge shout out to all of my current patrons. Your support is very much appreciated. I love you all so much. And now let's go back to actually trying to get this correct. And there we go, general shape of nose. And now we do this move so I can move it until it's like looking slightly correct. That looks about right, but we'll only really know once I draw the rest of her face. Well, at least I will. Really quickly, I am going to pop up to this one real quick and see. Yeah, I always have trouble remembering how like big Vixie's nose is in particular. I think that's generally the size of it. We're gonna do it right now, since that's generally the spot I want it to be, and it'll be there for the time being. We're going to make a new layer, and we're going to set to basic and not stabilizer. We're going to really quick, whoop, what have I selected? Just do this, there. And we'll just very quickly go over this so I can make minor corrections to the shape to make it look a little bit better. Namely, going a little bit more down and then having this go up a bit quicker. How's that? No, I want it to go more directly down like that. Much better, much better. Okay, so I just wasn't going far enough in there. The much easier thing of drawing her hair, because I always do the exact same shape anyway. And now for the best part of the video, Vixie draws her hair. Alright, so normally the way I do it is I just start off with this little spot up here. It's like a little curl up, and then curl that down like that. And then I have the extra part come down like here, and then curve up, and then do the same all the way down. More curve, please, like that. Rip that up. And a little bit down here. And then, from this point, I take this general shape, and I move it around. Maybe skew it a little bit, make it a little bit wider. This way, until I have the general vibe of her hair flap. And then, once I have the general vibe of it, I'll come back up here on basic, mirror it so it's more conducive to a right-handed person, and then curl it around like that. And then I have the continuation that curls down and goes over her muzzle and then flips around, which she does not currently have a muzzle, so I can't specifically do that. But that is generally, I think, going to work for the time being. So I didn't give her ears in the armature. Okay, let's do that real quick, just because it's bothering me. Sketch, that needs to be its own group. Hold on, rename that to Skim, and now we can just really quickly give her ears. Which Vixie's ears are very, very simple, because they're just big triangles. That's a bit too perked up. Like that. And then drawing the other ear has always been weird to me. I can never get it on the first try. It always looks slightly off. That actually doesn't look terrible. I do want it to be a little bit more back though, because well, I guess that maybe like that. Yeah, that looks somewhat right. What does it look like with... It looks a little odd, but I usually end up fixing her ears when I'm actually doing the sketch, and I just have the armature there to exist. And now that I've covered all of my bases when it comes to stuff I want to talk about, the rest of this video is just going to be me actually trying to do the art thing, which means I can finally have the luxury of shutting up for a little bit and letting a time-lapse roll while I figure shit out. Will I do that right now? Not sure. Maybe. We'll find out. I think, at least for the time being, we won't quite do a time-lapse yet, because we still gotta do, like, the rest of her hair. And Vixie's hair is a very important part of her design, because I really like her hair, because her hair, aside from the pink highlights, is very much just my hair, maybe a little bit longer, and I like my hair. So that does remind me, I do want to actually, like, get pink highlights in my hair at some point, because if you don't know, pink is my favorite color. That's why it's my channel color and the highlights that I put in Vixie's hair, which, fun fact while I'm talking about that, that looks wrong, but we'll come back to that. I actually incorporated both of my favorite colors into Vixie's color palette. Her hair highlights are pink, which is my favorite color, and her eyes are indigo, which is my second favorite color. So there's a little fun fact for you. The other part of her hair always messes with me, and I can never quite get it right. It always looks a little bit off. I always go a little bit too under with it, or too tall with it, or anything in between. I can never get it exactly right on the first try. As I literally just showed, her, like, emo hair flap, that I can nail basically every time, just because it's always the same shape, and it's always very simple when it comes to the shape. But for this other part, I can never decide which part I'd like to start with. The under part is an easier shape to remember, because it's just like this little curvy line like that. But the top part of that is easier to do because it's more conducive to how much of her face I want it to cover up. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to bring my stabilizer way up and go really slow with it. See, on this angle here, it's very much like, it's very much like a leaf shape. So I'm gonna really quickly just go to this and then set this to 100, just so I can see a general vibe of the shape it's going to be, which actually there's white here, so let's do teal, because that's the complementary color to pink. So that general shape is like that. It's like a bean shape almost. So usually, as I just mentioned, that's still on my entire hair layer, which it's a good thing I checked, because I should probably make that a separate layer. just so I can mess with it. So usually, as I mentioned earlier, it's not necessarily bean-shaped. It's usually much more curvy, like that, and then around like this. It's sort of like that shape, but more wide. Obviously, I can't get it. So, yeah, let's just go very, very slow. And no, that's too slow. Man, okay, I might actually go into a time lapse while I try to figure this out. So I'll be back in a little bit once I figure this out. There we go. All right. Honestly, that looks way better than I normally draw her hair. Huh. Okay. Let's try and move this up a little bit. See if it still looks good. Nah. That's kind of just like perfect right there. All right. So we'll leave it like that, and then we'll just very quickly go to basic so we can touch up the line a little bit. So it's just a little bit more connected. Yeah. I'm not sure what it is about this. I'm like, this is like the favorite I've ever drawn Vixie's hair, which is weird, because I've drawn her hair a lot. Something about this in particular. I guess just the shape is nice. It looks a lot more full than it normally is, and it's usually pretty full. I really like it. So let's really quickly see if I want to make her other side a little bit longer. Yeah, actually I do. So hair look good, I like. So now we have the fun thing of trying to get her muzzle looking decently good, which is another thing I usually struggle with. But I usually fix that by making her hair go away real quick. And I do her cheek fluff first, and then I do her like nose area, like her snoot, and then I connect that around, is how I usually do that. So why change things up when we can just go with what we got, go with what we know. So we want stabilizer 100 for the general shape, too far, that, and then this one, then comes around like that. A little bit too tall. That, and then curve you up. Then have this last little bit up here. A little bit lower than it normally is, but that's fine. That's generally the shape of her cheek fluff, but I think I actually didn't put the middle section low enough. Like that, and then curve that up. Then have the top part here, like that. And then connect you up there. And have you come in a little bit more. Yeah. And then we'll really quickly make this a little bit bigger, move it up just a little bit. And there we go. See how that looks. Yep, just like it normally is, it's mostly covered up by her hair. I'm actually going to move this out just a little bit, and that should work. I'm actually going to move this under her hair layers real quick. And I'm going to put it in its own group so I can have an erasure mask, because erasure masks are really, really fucking helpful. I can just boop, bip, bop, boop, and I can fill this in. And if I ever want that to come back for whatever reason, I can just erase it. I can erase the erasure mask, funnily enough. And now that I have her hair and cheek fluff here, I am noticing that this ear is a little bit too small. That's good, because it's the armature. It's just supposed to be a general shape. We have to go to her snoot and try to figure that out. Which I might... I'll leave the hair layers right here for now, but I'll put the snoot layer just above it. So let's see. Something I've started with is literally, or not literally, but essentially making her snout line the same line as her hair. And curve that around like that. Yeah, it doesn't quite look right. Yeah. So we'll go back a little bit, and we'll just work on actually just doing her mouth first, which is another good way I can do that. I should probably pull up a reference so I can get that right. So give me 1 second. You know, going for like a reference for her mouth specifically, I totally forgot that I should probably have her fucking reference sheet up as well. Just because, you know, I need to have her fucking colors here. But this will work for exactly what I need. So what do I want to do with you? You're always in the way. You're always too big. So since she's not wearing her normal outfit, I think what we're going to do is we're going to make the sketch go away first and foremost. And then we're going to go with a square selection tool and just select just her face, cut that out, and then do the exact same for the colors. So I have those nice and clear, their own separate thing. I don't need her entire ref sheet taking up 95% of my canvas. And now we'll make the sketch come back so I can see where my negative space is. I should really just start using hotkeys. Hitting Control-T is way easier than trying to hit the little movable tool up here. And then we'll put her face right here. That ref sheet is kind of old. My style has evolved since I made it, but it does what a ref sheet needs to, which is to say it gives me a baseline of what I need to go for. But now that we have that, come back to this layer and press B for brush so I can get used to using fucking hotkeys. Do myself a favor and set her hair to 50% opacity so I can have the more important parts of what I'm working on right now, being her face, more directly visible. I always struggle with her snoot the most, and it bothers me. I never know how to approach it. So I guess let's go like this, and then switch to basic to make it easier, because this part is always just one shape. Curve it up like that. And then have that come around. Am I not making it tall enough? Is it too tall? I don't know. Yeah, I think it's too far forward. I had a feeling that was the case. So let's do this, right? Let's go here, and we're gonna add that now empty layer into some group, so I can move that around however much I want. And we will very quickly just do something very basic. We'll just do this, a little bit back more, and then like that. He's a little bit frustrated right now, but that gives me a general shape of her face and snoot and mouth and such. She is pouting, but that means I can move this until it like looks correct. Actually, since I'm here, fuck it. Make this own separate thing just in case. And we're going to... No, hold on, we want basic. Basic. Then connect that around like that. Now that we have the general shape of her snoot. Like that. And now we can select this whole ass group, and we can move it until it looks correct. Oh, it was too short. That's what it was. Okay. Now it's too tall, I think. So let's see. How do I want to do this? I think what I want to do is just go ahead and erase the lip down here because we don't need it right now. And then roll with this. Oh, I think I know why that looked weird. It's because I always forget her like lip doesn't curl up that much. I usually end up giving her like a cat face where it's, you know, the fucking :3. Ew, that's terrifying. Where it's usually just like the typical :3, but that her lip doesn't curve up that much. It's much more gradual. So with that in mind, go back here and actually make this more conducive to actually looking correct, which I think that's generally good. That general shape is fine. So we are actually going to merge all of these real quick and set those to 25% opacity, make her hair go away. And we're going to trace over that so we have a fresh thing that can adjust directly this better shape that I found. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Her mouth is not quite the way I want it to be. I want her to be smiling more. Right now it's more of a understated half smile. I want her to actually be like smiling. But that, I would say, is the general shape we're going for. Now we are officially cooking with gas. So let's very, very quickly, actually let's not erase that just in case. Just in case I want to change her lip, which I most certainly will. But we will go here because I remember now, I always do this, I try to smooth out her snout in that first initial stroke, so I try to make it rounded in that initial stroke, but that's not how I do that. I always do, hold on, we'll go up here, I always do this first line and then like that, and then I go in and I smooth it out by filling in the corner here, like that, so it's rounded but still pointed. That's how I normally do that. So now that I've remembered that for the millionth time and the millionth time to come, I'm now essentially good to go. Because right now, it very clearly looks just like, you know, her hair is connectly directed to her muzzle, but with the power of color, with like the streak going down and not following flush with her snout, and shading, of course, we can make that look correcter. So I think with this, now that we have the general shape down, we should probably add her nose first, huh? What I'm going to do next is I'm going to work on connecting it to her cheek fluff, so we can have her general head shape, and then I'll worry about changing her mouth shape. Connect that down. There we go. And I'm looking good. I really am. Do I want to... I'll make it a separate layer here. So now let's just trace over that and have it like, it's too thin. We want it to come down a little bit more. Like that. How's that look? Wrong. Yeah, see, that's what I thought. Her cheek fluff isn't big enough. It looked weird. Erase that. That's generally where I want it to be, but we'll erase that just in case. So now we gotta go back up to our cheek fluff, which is here. Yeah. And make it bigger. Oh, wait. Erase your mask, go away. Alright. And we'll go to that. And then we do a little bit of skewing and stretching. Move it back a little bit. Like there-ish. And we'll try that. Now, erasure mask can come back. And let's move the erasure mask so it's flush properly. Now, we'll go back to the muzzle situation. I'm gonna rename these so I don't lose them. Yeah, it suddenly got dark and I can't see my fucking keyboard anymore. And now from here, we'll go back in, now that I've moved her cheek fluff. And let's actually set this to 100. We'll just do an entirely new bottom fluff right here. We'll go ahead and switch back to basic for this one. And now let's go to cheek floof. And we'll just add it to the erasure mask, screw it. Just in case we want to keep it. Erase all that. Fuck all that. I all can suck a caterpillar dick. There we go. And we'll erase this a little bit here. And just a little bit of touch up. How's that look? Armature, go away, you're messing with my perspective. Yeah, there we go. I would say shape works. It only looks weird because she doesn't have ears right now. So now, let's very quickly change her mouth to be more happy and expressive. She may be emo, but she's not that emo. So I think the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to set this to 40, I guess. I didn't mean to, but we're here. And that way we can just trace this a little bit, so we can have it curl up a little bit more. It looks a lot more smug than I wanted her to be. Oh, but you know what can... Do you know what can fix? We can add to the expression because she doesn't have fucking eyebrows. So let's play around with eyebrow shapes real quick to see which one gets what we want. But first things first. Okay, so the, like, upside down U shape is making her look like more smug. So what if we like do something like that? I remember having this similar issue with the Roxy drawing I never finished. Hey, actually, you know what? Like that. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, cool. I think let's rotate that a little bit. And now we just have to find the place to put it to give it the most accurate effect. I think right there. Yeah. Yeah. I might make her... Okay, hold on. Let's do myself a favor real quick before I go changing anything particularly drastic. Oh, hold on. There might be a reason why it looks weird. This needs to go away because it's old. Okay, yeah. That was making it look a bit wider than it was supposed to be. But the thing I was mainly talking about right now was I want to fill in her lip because she wears black lipstick all the time. 100% of the time. Always and forever. So we gotta fill this in to get the actual portrayal of her lip. See if it looks weird at all. And say that's what I had a feeling about. I want it to be smaller, more smooshed. It's coming too far out this way and it's making her look like smug, which is not quite what I'm going for. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to set all these to 50% opacity, and we are going to trace just the lower part of it. We're going to leave her nose where it be, so we can independently stretch, skew, and scale her lips directly until we get the effect that we want. So that should work. Let's set the anchor point to here. Not quite. Yeah, you know what? Let's just do another muzzle. So I'll set all that back to 100 so I can take the group down to 50%. And then we'll set... No, that's fine. We'll leave it there. So now let's just touch up the line art a little bit. The sketch. A little bit. And then... nosy. In... that. And then we do the thing. Like that. And then round it out. Why does that look better? Why does that just look better? I did the exact same thing. You know what? I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. We're just gonna full send it right now. And we're just gonna trace that. We're gonna just continue tracing this so I can get this. Actually, you know what? Let's just go in here, because that's a separate thing, and delete everything below it. And then set that to hundo. Yeah, I don't know what I did, but that looks better. I guess I made it like a hair's breadth thinner, which is exactly what I was looking for, but I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm happy. So with that, I guess we'll just shove that in there. Actually, no, it's already got its own group, so I'll just take this out and then delete the other group. Leave that there. Make a new layer between them and use that to fill in her lipstick. And we'll see if it starts looking weird once I actually like put the lipstick in. See if it was like a brush width situation. No, that just looks better. Cool. I'm happy. You know, I just thought, I wonder if maybe her expression isn't quite right because I made her eye a little bit too, like, not downtrodden, but understated. So here's what I might do. That's her eye. That's her eyebrow. Yeah. So let's move this down, put these into a group. So now I have her eye. And we're just gonna make this a little bit taller. Skew it a little bit taller. Like that. And then let's go to the eyeshadow real quick and just erase this little bit in here. Yeah, that looks... Oh, that's infinitely better. Yeah, it was just her eye. See, that's the great thing about expressions. If one part looks fine, but it still looks wrong, you can move something else and it'll probably fix it. That's why you always do separate layers, and that's why you make groups for your different parts of your face. But now her eyebrow's a little bit too low and she's looking concerned, so let's just raise it up a little bit. And let's see, can I... Yeah, there we go. Her eyebrows are a little bit longer than that. We'll do that. I would say that's pretty damn good. I'm happy with that. Cool. So with her face all looking good and everything, still gotta work on her head before we move on to the nitty gritty and the titty. So let's go up here, and now we do her ears, which I did note are a little bit too small. So we'll just make sure to overcorrect a little bit, and we'll go like that. And that should give me the general shape I'm looking for. Around here. Okay, yeah. There's another issue. This needs to be more like this, because she is facing the camera. Like that. Her ear's a little big, but I do like big ears. So we'll send this right now, which just reminds me, I want to put this into a group so I can mess with them independently and on a whole. And we are going to very quickly do the starting things. And whoop. Like that. Boop. There we go. I want to make the ear fluff the same layer as that. Ooh. Hold on, my brain's thinking. Yes. This needs to be thinner. Thinner and up more. And just out of curiosity, let's lower it a little bit. Like that. How's that look? Better. We're getting somewhere. There. Understated, relaxed. I like it. Okay. So for the time being, before I actually try to do stuff with her other ear, I am just gonna copy this real quick and move it over to the right with a little bit less shit to it. Like that. This is usually how I do placeholders for the other ear, so I can get a general feel of where I want it to be, even if it's going against what the armature I set up is doing. It'll be a little bit more accurate to the armature, because I usually get the armature wrong. Out of curiosity, let's just make that go away real quick. Yeah, that looks weird, but I'll fix it once I actually get to that part. Right now, we gotta do ear fluff. So we're gonna make the dress thing go over to the other side, so I have room. Her ear fluff is super easy. So easy that I'm gonna do it in real time, so you can play along at home if you happen to be drawing Vixie yourself. Which, by the way, if you ever draw fan art of Vixie, you can find the ref sheet on my Fur Affinity. If you ever draw fan art of her, make sure to send it to me on Twitter, because I'll show it in a video. I always accept fan art. Alternatively, if you're in the Discord, there's a fan art section in the Discord that you can put it there instead. But that or Twitter/X is usually the best place to send fan art for me if you decide to do fan art. Anyway, inner ear fluff. Here we go. Bam, just like that. And then another line. Bam, just like that. Maybe just like that. There we go. And then curve down. Wow. And then you curve it up like this, so it's like a little pistachio shape. And then you come back down here. We send it out like that, and curl it back up like this. And then you connect them. Bam. Whoops, that sucks. And then connect them. Bam. Just like that. Boom. Vixie ear fluff. Done. And did I leave any space for her ear? No, I didn't. Do I want to, though? Not really, because that kind of serves the purpose that I was going for. Yeah, okay, let's make the armature. Hold on, I made the ears, yeah, separate. It's a good thing I forgot to do the ears, because I can just move them independently. Which, now that I'm seeing this, it looks a little high up still. So let's go to ears. Actually, lock that real quick and make it go away. Go to ears, down just a little bit. Then curl it down like that. Does that look better? Better? She looks kind of upset though, but she is supposed to be shy. So actually, yeah, that works. So now we just gotta figure out how we want to do the other ear, which that actually doesn't look terrible now that I've moved the other one. Okay, hold on. We're not gonna keep that just as is. We're gonna trace over it, but that looks basically correct for what I want to do. Yeah, pretty much. I think I will move it slightly to the left, make it slightly taller, and maybe rotate it a little bit. So it's like that, and then connect it down here. And let's see how that looks. I'm feeling like it should go more to the right, so I may end up doing that. Yeah, we'll leave this one, delete the old one, leave this one, set it to 25% opacity, make a new layer, and then we'll just use this opportunity to full send it to be like more to the right. Here's something we're cooking with. Here is something we're cooking with. What if, potentially, we have her ears more, like, down, like that. And then, from here, we can skew it a little bit this way. That. And then make it taller is what I want. Yeah, taller. And roll back. Like that. That looks about right. We're slowly getting there. We just got to keep going through iterations. So I think right here is basically exactly what we want, but we have the point go a little bit farther back this way, connect down to the relatively the same spot, and then curve around. Right there. How's that look? Almost. Let's move it back just a little bit. Like here. And then erase that little nubbin right there. That looks about correct to me. Alright, cool. I am just now remembering I didn't put circles for her boobaloo in the armature. So let's do that real quick. So let's do this a super simple way. I just use the circle tool. And then we can move them around until they are the way that I want them to be. Go like that, and then make another one. Go out this way, which this should be a little bit smaller, like this one, a little bit bigger. Oh wait, no, I totally forgot. An integral step of when doing boobaloo, you gotta connect it, because it's not just a circle floating there. You gotta connect it. So you go in here, put a little triangle up top like this. And that will show you where it connects. I always forget which one I start with. Is the one that's farther away or closer to the camera? I think I normally do the one that's farther away, because I then erase it, because, you know, it's supposed to be overlapping, because of how boobs work. So let's move this over to the left. And then rotate, skew, so it's a little bit more correct. Yeah, let's just get rid of the triangle real quick, and then move it here. A little bit taller, like that, and then move you down, because it's not quite like push up. And now, make her shoulder go away so I can see. And connect it around like this. There we go. And now let's dupe that real quick, and then move it over here. Make it a little bit bigger for perspective and such. And now we'll erase the triangle because the perspective is different, so that doesn't make sense. And we're gonna go down here as well. We'll erase the inside, so I have more perspective here. And now we do the triangle on this side. Yeah, pretty much that. Which, for armature, that works just fine. So long as I have circular shapes on her chest, I can actually, you know, have something to go off when I draw her clothing. Which is what we're going to be doing next, and I'm just realizing now that I have her boobaloo here, her hips aren't quite big enough. And /Aura made her boobs too big. But I'm not making them smaller, so I'm just going to make her hips wider. There we go. And I am noticing when I flip it, Her left boob isn't quite big enough. It's a little bit too small. So we'll just very quickly shoop the tiniest little bit. That looks, I can already tell it's too big. So let's move it back a little bit more. How's that? Let's try it from this perspective. Oop. How's that? That's looking more correct. Yeah, okay. So I think for now, we'll run with that. Boobs have been placed. Congratulations. Set off the confetti. Set off the success sound effects. Here's a game show winning sound effect. Ding, ding, ding. We have boobies. Woohoo! I figured I'd give you something to do other than time lapse of Snowy, so you better appreciate my generosity today. I could, but I'm drawing me right now, so come back later and we'll talk about it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to select everything we have thus far in here, and we're going to put that in its own group, and we're going to call that Head-Noggin. There we go. Now her head is entirely on its own separate layer, and now we're going to do the same here, and we'll have that be a body. I might have that as be dressed specifically, but for the time being, we'll just leave it like that. I do have a much easier time drawing clothing than faces, facial features, and like the actual body itself. When I first started getting back into drawing a while ago, like a while ago, like before I even became an adult a while ago, I practiced by drawing various like simple outfits because it's very easy to do like very basic shapes when there's no like anatomy to be worrying about, and it's just a piece of clothing. So see here, it's pretty low cut. There's a lot of cleavage here, and largely it's just kind of a very basic like strapped thing. So I might continue with that because I kind of just like the shape of that mini dress, but my issue was me not quite like getting the silver effect right. So we might just go with the exact same thing. So I guess let's just fucking sund up, and we'll just start with the boobaloo, because it's everybody's favorite part, including myself. Then around, then we have a little bit dip here, because it's fabric, and then bring that around. Actually, you know what I might do? Let's just keep going around here, and have this be like a peanut shape. So I can decide whether or not to have it be like a brassiere situation, I guess? No. But not like cut. Like, you know what I mean? Where it's like, just like, right? Like a pull-up, it's strapless dress is the best way to put it. Yeah, strapless dress. That is exactly what it is. I'm not the biggest fan of strapless dresses, though, both in function and form. We're just gonna have this peanut shape here as the general, like, connecting point for the dress, and then we'll add, like, the straps and, like, the rest of the dress to it. Because the most important thing about learning how to do art is learning how to utilize the most basic shapes you possibly can. Because the moment you start trying to do with exclusively complex and anatomically correct shapes, and you don't break it down into the most simplest shapes you can first, especially if you have ADHD, shit's gonna be a lot harder for you. So, for the time being, we're just gonna work with this nice peanut shape, and we will work the boobs off of that. But I will make it a little bit bigger this way. A little bit. So it connects better with that like guideline we have from the anatomy. So now, what I'm gonna do is, let's see, do I want to have like the contour of the boob, or do I just want to send it and go with the straps? Because she doesn't actually have shoulders yet, but I do have the guidelines for where the shoulders will be. We'll do the contours. Just have a little bit of boob here, and then have it come down like that. Where's the, there. A little bit up right here. And curve up like that. And then we do a similar thing over here. That. Look about correct? About correct is the term I would use for that, yes. So therein we have contours for Boobaloo, and from there we can actually utilize those as a connecting point for the straps. So they're gonna start like around up here, and they're curved down, but they're gonna go farther and connect to the actual dress, so it's like a straight line in there. And then do like that, and run like that. A little bit too intense. So let's start from here, And now that I have the contour there, I'll just go ahead and make it go away real quick. Make this line a little bit thicker. Like that. It's roughly good. Like that. Then have it go up like that. Pretty much, yeah. It should be more this way. So our shoulder's like right there. It's like going into our neck right now. So we'll go ahead and delete that, have the contour come back, and we're going to have the inside line for the thing follow the contour here. And then come around and do that. Then contour go away, then use the outside line of the contour, connect it through, and now that we have that, I did the same thing, didn't I? No, that looks a little bit more correct. Maybe I should have, like, shapes for her arms first. That might be a good idea. For the time being, we'll run with this, though. So what I'm gonna do, that's the contours. There we go. Keep the contours here, and I'm gonna try the other side first. You know what helped me, actually, is if I cut out the cleavage window first. Let that come down. Back there. And comes back up. There. This one is good. I could go a little bit in more, but the second one needs to be better. It needs to start here and have more of a curve. That. How's that look? Better. Okay. And just for the sake of it, we'll have like little stretch lines here. The boobs are trying to escape. Those won't be in the final thing, but they're there, so fuck it. Alright, so how did I do that from the... Okay, it looks like I literally just had it continue off. So we will do the same here. Let's flip it around like this. And connect it up over around here-ish. There. How's that? That looks like a strap. Cool. So we'll go ahead and connect that down like that. And we will really quickly go down to the peanut shape. And we'll erase a little bit. So seeing as how I'm moving steadily away from using the peanut shape, I'll keep it here. But we'll bring that opacity down, go to this one, and we will actually put her boo-blue in the way here. So we'll start off just by having the actual physical circle here. And then we'll adjust it as need be. Okay. That looks generally okay, at least for what we're working with at the time being. And actually, it's really good that I have OBS in my second monitor because I can look at it from a farther point to see if it, from a distance, it looks fine. And if I'm just, worrying too much about specific minutia. That's actually really helpful. Obviously, this line doesn't make sense with the perspective. But we'll fix that eventually. Right now, I just want to get, the straps all done and good. Which, I'm wondering if the reason the strap looked weird here is it's too open that way. We will find out once I actually try, but for the time being, let's get that other strap in here. Did I have the strap follow the contour of the other one? Boom. It looks like I kind of did, yeah. It also looks like there's something different about that. I guess it's because it's more down, but whatever. I'll worry about the perspective of the specific cleavage later. Right now, we really need to do the strap. So, should be right here is when that starts. And then like that. Then perspective and such. Like that. That's looking better. That is looking better. So let's go down to, okay, that's the peanut shape. Use the soft eraser so we can get this specific thing there. There we go. and do the same here, and just go, I guess, here, and we'll round that out a little bit. Stoop, 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 stoop. Just like that. How's that looking? Better, 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 better. Looking better by the moment. So now let's go down here to like the cleavage and such, and we will do what I was trying to do before, like that, and make the armature go away. How's that look? Thought the perspective was a little weird. I think this line needs to be more up this way. How's that? A little bit too high, but that is generally what I'm going for. That. How's that? Still a little bit too high. Let's have it be like right here. Whoops. Right here. And curve a good bit. How's that look? Better. We're getting there. Hold on. Just a little bit up. Like right here. Curve down like that. Cool. Alright, and now let's just add a couple like little lines here. Here. Yeah, boobs. And now, because I did the straps first, I can do the super easy, helpful thing. And I could just have her neck cut. Whoops. I'm holding the button. Thank you, Canvas tablet. And I can just, let's make this separate layer. Connect up like that. I always feel weird drawing the neck, because I usually have something in the way. Beforehand, it was like I'm drawing stuff in the way because I'm not confident in drawing necks. But now it's more because I've drawn stuff in the way so often, I'm not used to drawing necks. There we go. That looks like a neck. It looks a little bland, but that's good because I was planning to give her like a little choker. Because, you know, she's dressed up for a date and everything. She's got to look her best. Her neck also looks a little... it looks a little thin, but it doesn't look wrong. I think maybe just her head's a little bit higher up than it normally is what's throwing me off. Because, like, even in this, her head is, like, down a little bit. Which, fun fact, if you saw this, like, when I posted on my Twitter, I forgot to fill in this little spot right here with her hair color, so it looks like she has a ponytail, which she's not supposed to. That she's supposed to have her hair down like she normally does, but I accidentally forgot to fill that in, so it looks like she has a really loose ponytail. Well, actually, because I filled in this side, it looks like she has, like, twin tails, which that is not her style whatsoever. I just figured I'd point that out. Hi, boobs. I might actually move her head a little bit, which is good because we put it into the head noggin layer. Let's put the connection point here. Move it down like that, a little bit down like this, and have it be like there. And then we'll go to body, and we'll erase the little bit of neck that's bleeding over. Oh, that looks way better. Oh, that looks way better. Ah. Later. It looks so much better. I'm becoming delirious. Now, here's the thing I'm curious about. What are you? What layer are you on? Ah. You're on the peanut layer. Go away. Alright, so now that I've moved her head noggin a little bit to be better, we'll just go ahead and make the head noggin thing go away for the armature, because I moved it. So it's gonna look wrong always. Alright, cool. I was just singing Pendulum and looking at it right now. I forgot a couple things. One, this contour needs to, or the strap needs to be erased a little bit, because the hair is supposed to be dangling down in front of it. So let's find... This is why you name your layers, everybody. I know I don't do that, but you need to. Very handy, very helpful. So we'll go push, push. There we go. Alright. And now, I just remembered something that is integral to Vixie's design that I consistently forget. She doesn't have earrings, and she doesn't have whiskers. I always forget either her earrings or her whiskers. Usually I don't forget the entirety of her whiskers, but I do almost constantly forget to put like the little dots where her whiskers connect. The follicles, if you will. But before we do the whiskers, we're going to do the earrings first because that's my number one thing I forget to do the most. And if I forget in the sketch, that drastically increases my chances of forgetting to do it when I actually go to finish this thing. Actually, I always do that. I want to start with one and then just duplicate it, because that's way easier. Stop on your right foot, don't forget it! And now let's really quickly just touch up the lines on the other ones, because they're dupes. Just fill that in a little bit. And we gotta go find the line layer, which is here. And we just erase all of the stuff that's inside the earrings. And add a little bit of connector line right here. So there's a little bit of follow through, and go up to the fluff. Do the same. There we go, earrings. Cool. Looking good. Me. And other earrings are here. We gotta do the whiskers. I usually start with actually just the lines themselves, but I should start with the dots because it gives me a literal anchor point from which to start her whiskers. There. And now because I have those, the middle one's the longest. These other two are a little bit shorter. That, and same thing over here. There you go, whiskers. See, this is really entertaining for me. I'm really enjoying this specific iteration of Let's Draw, and I don't even think this is going to be a mini. I'm probably going to actually have this be a series, because up until literally never, I haven't done a Let's Draw where I did every step of the process on camera and finished it. The closest I came was with the like initial testing episode with Roxy, which I never finished that because I ended up hating it either way. So I think I actually am going to have this be a proper series, like a series of videos, instead of just a one-off like the Let's Draw mini I did where I was doing minor things to the Empress drawing I was working on. And I think I am actually going to have this be its own thing. So it's really interesting that I'm doing that now, because not only am I doing a proper like finished thing, which I'm going to do my best to finish this, which I am loving this so far. It's weird that I'm drawing my persona on camera because I haven't done that before. It's always been fan art on Let's Draw. So it's weird that the only metrics I have to go on are metrics that I set for myself, and there's a bunch of specific detail that I already have banked in my head, instead of having to like look at a reference to remember or notice in the first place. Because her arms are going to be behind her, I should probably do everything that's going to be on the forefront first. So I should probably go with like the actual dress part of her next, which I always either overshoot or undershoot how thin I want her waist to be. Obviously, I don't pay too much attention to genuine, like, realistic proportions because I draw cartoons anyway, but I don't want her waist to be too thin, because like even here, her waist isn't all that thin, even though I am very much noticing that I made her boobs way bigger in this, but Vixie's supposed to have pretty big boobs anyway. And who doesn't love big boobs? I know I do. So let's see how I want to do this. Let's start with the back curve a little bit and see if I can get this generally right. Probably not, but generally like that. And then hip. And then go from here. Yeah, that's way too thin. I also think her hips are too far down, which is an issue I have a lot, because Vixie is not supposed to be tall, but there's a lot of cases where I end up accidentally drawing her to look a lot taller than she actually is. If you're curious, Vixie's canon height is 5'2". She is not tall, like at all. She is, in fact, quite little. So how did I do the front here? So little curve and then, okay. So let's actually start out with the front then. Like that, and then move around like that. That's looking better. A little bit better, but better. I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to send it with this, and I'm just going to like use scaling and skewing to get it to like look proper. So we're gonna roll with this for a little bit. Yeah, okay, so now that I'm back, I am noticing what the issue is. So the front here needs to be just a little bit more out this way, and we're actually going to soft erase the inside for just a little bit. And we're going to trace over that to make the line a bit better. Like that. Erase you. And then a little bit hip dip. A little bit hip dip. And do that. And now, from this back part here, we're going to erase until around like right there. Then, we're going to take that opportunity to start from the top and connect down. That seems like a better idea to me. That looks a bit wrong. So let's actually, let's erase all the way down to where her hip meets her thigh. And then we'll just have this be nice and smooth. How's that look? That looks much better. This part over here, though, I think needs to be a little bit higher. I don't know about y'all, but that to me looks way better on both my tablet and OBS on the left there. That looks much better. Okay, so now with that in mind, let's just go ahead and continue onward with this. I might make this curve a little bit more intense just to see how it looks. Just a little bit more intense. So we're gonna erase it. Fuck it, I'll just erase it like that. And then we'll go like this, so I can just have it go all the way up. Like that. Super intense. I like it, but it looks a little bit wrong. Maybe... You know what? Maybe I will make her waist, like, a little bit thinner than it's supposed to be. That looks uncharacteristic for how I normally draw her, but I do like it. And I guess normally she does wear, you know, a big, thick, like, knit, like, sweater tank top. So this could just be like she's wearing something that's more form-fitting. I kind of do like that, like, a lot. Yeah, actually, I like that, like, way better. I think we are just going to very quickly send this and just kind of touch up the dress lines a little bit, make it so they are more, like, fleshed out and everything. And then we'll just have one contour. These won't obviously be seen when I actually color and everything, but this is just for posterity's sake, I suppose. And now what I'm going to do is oop, hello. Something happened over here. Hold on. Get rid of that real quick. I don't know why Krita sometimes does that. I don't hit anything, but suddenly it just stops displaying my selection. What I wanted to do was I wanted to experiment with making her dress just a little bit longer. So we're going to connect it like right here for the anchor point and make it a little bit longer. This. Yeah, I'm liking it. I am liking it. Maybe a little bit too tall. Hot dog. Now we're cooking with gas. So now that the dress is relatively good, let's go ahead and just add some lines for her thighs, her leggy, if you will. Which that's off screen and that's off screen. So there we go. And now her armies, which I am going to make its own separate group because the arms are its own separate beast. I usually don't have too much of an issue with like shoulders and stuff, and I'm not drawing hands, so it's really just getting the size of her arms correct, which we should start with. I'm actually going to pull up one of those cursed AI Vixie images just to see what she's doing with her arms here. So, God, it's so strange. It's so fucking strange. It's so strange. This is uncanny valley for me. Because obviously, up until literally just now, the only person who has drawn Vixie has been me. So, for the other, like, outside perspective of quote-unquote someone else making something a Vixie being an AI, it's so fucking cursed. It's so weird. This doesn't look bad. Obviously, it's weird because it's AI and it's not real art, but it doesn't look bad. It doesn't have like anything weird about it. It's just so fucking strange seeing an approximation of my OC regurgitated by an AI. It's so strange. All right, and I gotta give her choker. We'll do that in a second. But this one, she's not letting her arms hang. Her forearms are like tucked up to like her mid back. Let's look at the other one, and relatively the same, but she's like holding one arm behind her. So one's curled up, the other's dangling. I might do that. Yeah, I might do that. This might, as far as her arms go, I might just do this, where this one's curled in and holding that one. Then the one that's like off to the side, you can't see all that much, is the one that's dangling, so I can just have that go straight up and down. We'll do that. Thank you, random shitty AI. Oh, and if anyone's curious, I've mentioned this in like DMs to people who've asked before, but while I do mess with AI art, I have a very strict policy to myself that I never share any AI art publicly because it is categorically stolen. So if anyone's curious about any of my AI like illustrations, my AI generations, this is pretty much the closest you're gonna get to seeing them. Aside from like you subscribe to my Patreon and an AI generation happens to be in the ref slayer. That's the closest you'll get to actually seeing these, because I'm never going to release these publicly. I have moral quandaries with it, because you should have moral quandaries with AI, because it's categorically stealing art. But thankfully, I just use it for a general vibe, and I'm not trying to profit off of it. I try to profit off of my actual art, because it's actual art. Anyway, with that controversial point out of the way, let's start with this one. So how do I never know if I want to start like this or from the other side. It's always, the biggest part is deciding what direction to tackle it from. So I think we'll flip it and then come around like this. Okay, yeah, like I mentioned, I don't really have an issue with doing the arms, because the upper arm, like bicep area, for my style, not trying to be anatomically correct, is just a tube. I don't have to worry about the specific muscles in her arm. But it's usually when I have to connect it to the elbow and the forearm is when I have some hiccups, because I never quite get the perspective right. So let me just kind of visualize it by holding my arm behind my back like I'm holding. Yeah, let's make a new layer, and we'll have you go around like that a little bit, and just to get the, like that. How's that look? That doesn't look terrible. Let's make it a little bit taller, and I'll probably make her bicep forearm area a little bit wider down here by doing this, and move it up a little bit. That. And then erase. How's that look? Good. I like it. Good. All right. So now we got to do the other side, which, depending, like, looking at this perspective, I might have, let's see, hold on. Gotta hold my arms behind me again for this. Yeah, okay, so I might have her hand actually show up on the other side, because her hand would connect around here. So I guess let's just fucking sum up, and we'll make those separate layers so I can mess with it independently, and see if we can do this. Armature, go away. Does this look good or not? You're in the way, I can't tell. I would say it looks okay. So let's bring the line back real quick. And we're going to take this, move the anchor point to her shoulder, and move it in a little bit. That. And then we're going to do the same thing. Gonna erase all the stuff that should be blocked out by other shit. Arms go away. I would say better. I'm gonna make this bottom part a little wider. Just a little bit. Like right there. And I might give her other shoulder a little bit more of a dip. I kind of want to make her her other arm a little bit longer as well. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Like, that much. Yeah. Yeah. I would say that's okay. Something about her shoulders throwing me off over here. I think it doesn't have enough of a curve to it, so we're gonna see about fixing that by doing other such things as brush, soft eraser, and we're gonna go like that. Well, that's an airbrush. We're gonna go like this. Not quite. Let's try this other. Hold on, I've lost myself. Okay, then flip. There we go. That's what I wanted. And have it like that. No, not quite. Alright, let's try like that. So it's much more up. That looks better. That looks better. Alright, so armies. Cool. That'll work for the time being. So now, all we have to do is tail, hair, and choker. So let's go back to head and noggin, and I'll worry about cropping it a little bit more for extra space for the tail in a second. Because right now, we just gotta do her hair. So before I forget, because I usually do, we're gonna put this little line here, because that's very important. Because her hair doesn't just stop at her bangs and magically show up in the middle of her, like the back of her head. There we go. And now I think we want to connect it from here, like that, and then have it come around. Like that. Make that a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. Like that. And then we'll forget to do this. We'll move it a little bit inward. Not too inward though, like that. And from there, we're gonna make this 25% opacity, or 3. Can't see my fucking keyboard, there we go. And now we're going to actually add definition and detail to her hair here. Namely, we're gonna add a little line here, curves out like that, and then similarly, a little line right here, curves out like that, the line connecting them through here, because this is going to come out like this, and have a little bit of bip, and then we're gonna do the same here, right around like that, and do that. And shoo-de-boop. Like that. There we go. It's a little bit extra fluffy. A little bit more fluffy than I normally do. So we're gonna make that disappear real quick. And we're going to make this a little bit longer. A little bit shorter. Move it in a little bit. Here-ish. And we're gonna... see, this is a little bit wrong, so we're gonna just erase this whole last part right here. There we go. Then we have this come in a little bit, and this connects down here now. Much better. I am actually going to make this go away, and just have this go around like that, and erase the stuff that's covered by her arm. Perfect. And we have a little spot here that is covered by her shoulder. Hair. Nice. And we'll do her tail next, and then we'll finish up with the choker, because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the choker, but her tail's always the same. Now we're going to go back to body, make a new layer here, and we're going to mess with the crop. So there's some extra room, so I can decide how big I want her tail to be. Which, I just remembered I should have kept her full body ref, because I've winged her tail so many times for thumbnails that I forget about the actual shape of it. It is a legitimate problem I've had before. So very similarly to her hair, we're just gonna have a very basic general shape, and then we're gonna put some fluff on top of that. Which, speaking of fluff, I should put fluff on her shoulders as well. She doesn't have fluff on her shoulders here in her original ref, and she doesn't usually, but I might do that just for some added detail for funsies. We'll see. But right now, we want her tail to start there. A little bit too far out, so let's bring that in. And make it a little bit like that. Up like this. And then we'll build on top of that. You already know, we set in this bitch to 25%, 14 apparently, 25% opacity. And now we're going to add the fluffage, which I took as an evidence of how much I've winged her tail and not even bothered to get the actual shape correctly. I totally forgot it splits at the end. Because I've always just had it be like a bip, and then bip, and then bip. I've always just had it be like this jagged shape. I totally forgot it actually splits at the end here. Wow. Drawing your own persona is hard. Who would have guessed? There we go. That's much more fluffy than I normally have her tail, but I mean, her hair was more fluffy anyway, so let's have it come down a little bit, come out a little bit more. Actually, it just needs to be bigger on a whole. Not too much bigger though, because it's supposed to be largely behind her. And then we have the extra little nubbins on the backside here, which apparently is supposed to be 2. Damn it. Like that. And another one like that. There we go. Tail. Alright, thank you, reference sheet, that I should probably use more for when specifically drawing tail. Looking good! And now, let's do choker. I do like those, like, heart chokers that have, like, the strap that wraps around the heart in the center. I think those are really cute, so I might go with one of those. And let's actually do myself a favor, switch to white, because it's technically jewelry, which I just realized I didn't make her earrings white, but whatever. Who cares? And let's... There we go. And then we just have black, and we connect that around her neck. You can't quite tell what that is, especially when I merge them for posterity's sake and separate them from the body group and put it under head and noggin. Funnily enough, it actually looks better down there. Okay. Yeah, let's just go round 2. We'll go ahead and maybe make the heart a little bit thicker. So now, what we're gonna do is do the same thing, except we're actually gonna make a separate layer. There we go. Now, we connect the inside-y part here, like that. Connect it like that, then the inside-y part, and then like that. Let's go actually down to basic, so I can be less hyper-specific. Then, we go and make those go away first and foremost. Take the new heart, and erase the little center part here. There we go. That'll look a lot more noticeable once I actually put, like, color to this. Alright, so I think this works for a sketch for the time being. So now I'm going to really quickly make these goes away, and I'm just gonna fill this out with some basic grayscale and probably just her eye color. So we're gonna hit a time lapse. So I'll be back in a little bit when I'm done with that. Alright, I think that will work for the time being. Goddamn. Okay, I'm not sure if Snowy looked this in or not, but around the time I was getting close to, like, filling out, like, the dress, I had the I had the audible reaction of how the fuck did I do that? I was not, like, intending to make it, like, look good, which it still doesn't, but it looks way better than I was originally intending it to. But either way, this looks like a sketch to me. This looks pretty good. So what we're gonna do now is we'll crop it first. Yeah, I should probably keep it relatively the same. So we have her in the center, but her tail is still visible. There we go. Much better crop. Alright. And now we are going to say this is a crawl file. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. We gotta sign this for the Patreon. So let's go to you, switch you to 40 points, I believe. And we'll have you be white. Go to Hundo, and we'll put a nice little... Put you on 40, damn it. Nice little whip right here. And we put a layer style on that. Drop shadow, 100%. 130 degrees. I think this is 50, 25, 50. Which is going to be difficult without being able to see my fucking keyboard, but whatevs. I think that's my usual shadow things. Yeah. And then we add stroke. 100% opacity, normal blend, black. There we go. There we go. Signed for Patreon. And now we'll go ahead and save this as Brush Patreon. And then just for my convenience sake of when I need to put this in a thumbnail, we're gonna go ahead and save this as a PNG as well. Alright, with that, I believe we have a sketch here, which means next is line art. Ooh, I love line art so much, it's so much fun. I cannot process how people can't enjoy line art, it's so satisfying. Anyway, look at this thing, look how good it looks, look how good she looks, look how good I look, it's great, I love it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this fun little Let's Draw, the first part of drawing Vixie going out on a date with you. Once again, a huge shout out to all of my current patrons. Your support is very much appreciated. I love you all so much. If you genuinely enjoyed this video, consider dropping a like and make sure to hit that subscribe button to become a pup if you haven't already, and hit the bell so it actually does something. If you want to support me and the channel, consider becoming a patron for just $5 a month, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks almost out in the first try. My name is Vixie, and I will see you all in the next one.